my name is Samara Jahanban, and welcome to WJ's podcast, Hallway Pass. And today we are going to be talking about something I never thought I would be talking about, ever. And it's the fact that it has been a year since quarantine, since a pandemic. So happy birthday, I guess? That's weird to say. I did not like saying that. But when you think about it, it's really crazy about how fast this year has been. Like, we are in March. We are almost done with the school year. My senior year is like flashing by, like right in front of my eyes. And it is so close to just being done with. Which personally is a very scary thought, because even though our initial response to this whole quarantine was to kick back, relax, because we all thought, oh, it's just going to be, an extended spring break, nothing's going to happen, and, I can stay home for a few weeks, even like a month. When I was told, we have to stay in lockdown for a while, I was like, no problem, I'll stay in my house. I have everything I need in here. But then over time, it got harder and harder because we had to end up staying inside our houses for months, and now a year. Which is very lonely and isolating. And I know that, you can always talk to your friends on FaceTime, text them, do Zoom chats. But everyone knows it's not the same. I can't see my friends as much as I want to, if at all. I can't celebrate events with my friends because all those events are canceled. Birthdays, holidays, vacations, anniversaries even. Last summer was so horrendously bad because all I did was stay home. And my birthday was in the summer. I don't even remember what I did on my birthday. I have no recollection. I know what I did on my 16th birthday, on my 15th birthday, on my 14th birthday even. I have no idea what I did on my 17th birthday. I don't remember because it was just like every other day. Because like everyone else, we all just got used to staying inside and just wait for it to be over, but it never was. So I got used to, staying in my house all day, doing literally nothing because there was nothing to do. And when school started, I was still very, I don't know if bored is the right word, but very isolated. Yeah, we had assignments, we had stuff to fill out, but what are they for other than just making sure I stay in school, making sure I get a good grade? But, for what? I mean, when the pandemic first started, people had to move an entire education system to a whole separate platform within a month, probably even smaller than that. And so people just got random assignments that didn't really mean anything because they were just to fill out, to complete whatever school year you were in last year. It was just to make sure you did what you had to do to finish that year. That was it. And then it bled through this year, which is your determinant for your entire school year of this year, especially for juniors. This is the grade where colleges look at you. But how are they supposed to look at you and determine your intelligence and your worth when you did this entire year on a education system that you had no preparation for? You had no idea this was going to happen. So how are you supposed to be judged by something that's out of your control? And I've heard people be like, oh, well, at least you don't have to, wake up at 6 a.m. anymore. You don't have to worry about crowded hallways or lunch anymore. You can just do whatever you want at home. But, that's comfortable, but only for a while because so much social interaction has been lost. And even though the school is going to begin opening, within the next few months, it's still not as pleasant. It's still kind of a scary thought because the buildings are going to be separated. All the seats are going to be socially distanced. There's no open lunch. There's no nothing. And I understand why. But it's not going to feel the same as just going back to school like a normal day because it's not. It will never be a normal day anymore. Because you can't just expect kids to all of a sudden snap back to normal like nothing happened. We're still going to carry that same mindset that we did in September to here because we had to be normalized and get used to an entire year of just pressing the submit button and attending Zoom classes. It can't just change that fast. So now students are only concerned with just submitting their assignments on time and just doing what they need to do to get by instead of actually learning the material. I guarantee you not many students know what they actually learned. They just did whatever they needed to do. And when they go back to school, those who chose to go back to school, they're probably not going to change that much. And it will take a while to get used to being back, especially in that specific environment, because the school itself is going to change. You can't just exactly walk in the hallways whenever you want to, or go out of class whenever you want to, or go outside the school. There's going to be someone watching you. There's going to be someone monitoring the hallways, making sure that there's the exact amount of students. And school activities are also probably not going to change either, because those still might be canceled or at least reduced to the amount of people that can join, the amount of people that can participate. There's probably not going to be, after school activities and clubs and events. It's just you go to school and you come home and do it all over again. And even though I wish and I hope for everything to, go back to normal and everyone's vaccinated, there's no worries, there's no threat of catching a virus anymore, and everyone's happy, and it's just not possible, because this has affected everyone's personal lives way too much for it to just snap back, because you can't recover from that kind of event that quickly. People got more isolated over time. They got used to just being alone with themselves or with, their specific family members. And because of that, many people lacked motivation for things that they used to do or things that they, wanted to do. We all developed different hobbies over, the first initial months of quarantine. We all were let's, learn some new skills. But those skills eventually wore off because they were very temporary things. Those hobbies that people wanted to do eventually got really repetitive because their days got repetitive and their months got repetitive. And their entire lives just end up becoming the same thing over and over and over again. And it's not even in a sense of you can always do something to change it. There wasn't much to change it to. When your mindset is already stuck in a very specific place, it's hard to get it out. No one can just be I'm going to do something different today because I, can do it. No, it's not how it works. You have to force yourself and dig yourself out of that little hole that you've made. But especially last year when people just kept piling on bad news after bad news after bad news, it got hard to be I'm already stuck here anyways, and the outside world's already messed up, so just stay inside, because what else is there to do? Because when you go outside, you end up becoming very aware of everything and everyone around you. People are more aware of how close they are with others. I don't see people touching the shopping carts in grocery stores anymore. They're always using gloves, or they're using, the sleeves of their clothes. Hand sanitizer is everywhere now. And people are looking back on things that they used to do last year that would be considered gross and unsanitary now, which for me would be gym locker rooms. I don't know why people have gym locker rooms, because I vividly remember there being a dead rat. My freshman year of high school, there was a dead rat in the locker rooms. And I just remember everyone, panicking, oh my God, there's a rat. And then I remember a teacher, she's oh, no, it's whatever. Just get him away. Yeah, no, that was nasty. But besides just looking back on, gross things that people used to do or people thought was okay, everyone's just so hyper aware. And part of it is good. It's good for people to be conscious about their health and to be conscious about their environment and what can put their lives at risk or can help them prevent getting ill. But this hyper-awareness also changes normality. It feels strange to go outside without a mask anymore, People are starting to forget their masks, how they forget their phone. They're oh, quick, I need to go back because, it's a mask. I need to wear one. And part of me kind of feels naked and exposed without it. I feel people can't see, that half of my face because that's where the germs are. So, wear a mask. Cover your face. Because not only will you get judged, but you will not be able to go inside buildings without one. And I know, at least for Maryland, many people have become really good with wearing masks. And everyone's always, following precautions, but I know many other states, people are protesting, which is one of the dumbest things I have ever witnessed in my entire life. To protest wearing a piece of cloth on your face. Because, regardless of how you feel, like it or not, this virus, this COVID, is a thing. It is part of people's everyday life now. This is the new normal. And I know everyone's, hoping it might not be and treat it as like, a once in a lifetime thing. And I know that, eventually, even like years from now, we'll, go back to wearing no masks and participate in large social gatherings like concerts and such. But for now, you have to treat it like an everyday thing, because if you don't, then you start to develop the mindset of, if it's going to be over eventually, I don't need to wear one, right? No. Please, for the love of everything, just wear one. Okay? You can get one at your local grocery store, your local dollar store, literally anywhere now. Just the more the people that just pay attention, the more cautious they are, the faster this will all go away. I feel like with this pandemic, like, team effort is a big thing now. You can't just have one person saving everybody's lives. That's, not how it works. You need multiple people collecting together to benefit the lives of not only everybody else, but also themselves. Not only to just get this thing over with, but to also protect themselves from getting this virus that people have died from. This entire year from March 2020 to March 2021 is not even a lesson, but just a standard now. Just be cautious of other people. Be aware of your surroundings. Have some common decency to just understand that this is something that's affecting millions of people, whether their families or their friends or their acquaintances or even their neighbors. This isn't this happens to like a once in a lifetime kind of person. No, this happens to like everyone. Almost all of us know someone who has had COVID. Almost all of us know someone who's had to deal with this virus and how it affects their body and how it affects their health as a whole, both while having the illness and also recovering from it. And I hope, especially now with the vaccine going on, people don't think, this is just a time for no one to wear masks anymore. No. Still wear a mask. It is still not safe enough to just go outside without a mask on, There are still millions of people who still haven't gotten vaccinated. One of the biggest examples, our school. I highly doubt that even 20% of our students are vaccinated, but some students are returning back to school, meaning they still have to wear masks. They still have to socially distance. It's not just, one vaccine comes out and everyone's free. That's not how it works. And I'm not saying to just be pessimistic and think that this virus and this is going to end for the rest of your lives and this is going to be how it is for 10, 20, 30 years. No, still be optimistic. The fact that there is a vaccine right now, the fact that people are able to get vaccinated right now is a huge step and a huge reason to be optimistic for things. And hopefully by, at least the end of the year or even next year, we'll have enough people to be vaccinated fully. But for now, have your hope, have your, optimism and your happy thoughts, but still keep in mind that you also need to be safe, if not for others, then yourself and the people that you love. And one of the things that kind of keeps me going is being able to tell, my kids or, grandkids this. I feel like this would be, a kind of cool story once this is all over of, I just lived through a pandemic. What about you? But for now, stay safe. And if, for people who are having a lot of trouble, confide in other people. Talk to your friends about how you're feeling. I know it's really easy for people I'm fine, pandemic, whatever. It's nothing. It is. We're all going through some really weird trauma that no one thought we were going to experience. And no matter how isolated you are actually not alone. Weirdly. Everyone is feeling so just drained. And the school is not exactly helping either. I understand that the school wants, our students to be happy and healthy, but just telling someone that they might get anxious or upset or exhausted with going through a pandemic and that, it'll all be okay, you don't have to worry about much, but then they just keep adding piles of work on top of you isn't really comforting. I'm getting kind of sick and tired of teachers being it's not normal for kids to be on computers like this, it's not normal for kids to, look at their screens for too long, but yet assign so much work that we are forced to be on our screens for that long. That does not help at all. The only thing that's keeping me going right now is just to know that this isn't forever and this isn't going to be my entire lifetime. And no matter how stuck I feel right now, I can't exactly do much other than, personally just stay, safe, that I know I won't have to do this forever. And I've also learned some cool things. I'm probably going to be wearing a mask in the future, but not every single time I go out, probably on really crowded areas like the subway. Because I don't even want to know how many germs are in there, but I'd like to stay away from them. So, wearing a mask in like crowded places might be useful in the future. But for the future, I feel like it might be better because now we all know what it's like to be alone, what it's like to feel isolated. And so, when it's normal for people to hang out again, you create a stronger bond because now you all have this shared experience of being alone and being by yourself for a year now, that when you come back, you start to talk to your friends a lot more than you used to, hang out with them a lot more than you used to, and you start to appreciate things that you didn't even think would be appreciated in your life. And at least this will all be, a cool story that you could tell to people in the future. And with that, that is the end for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video and also subscribe to the WJ Pitch to see more episodes like this and more videos from WJ.